Hey everybody, welcome to our little session to set up our charts for our trading station. This is the FXCM website that you're looking at here, fxcm.com. We're going to obviously need to load up a demo account to start with. You don't need to be doing anything that you shouldn't be doing, so demo account to start with, guys. If you straight onto the site, just says try it now. If you just scroll a little bit further down from there, you can actually see it says your free practice account. So let me just go back again. If you just click on that, obviously, as you just saw now, it'll take you through to the next screen, which is your sign-up screen. Simply enough, fill in your name, all your personal details here. You don't have to put a legitimate telephone number if you don't want to. They're definitely going to give you a call and try and get you to put more money in and all the rest of it. That's up to you. Where it says your demo type, choose the bottom section here where it says spread betting UK and Ireland only. Select your currency pair, which is GBP, and unclick the email me free educational trading and all that information. The last thing you want to do, guys, is have 1,000 emails in your box every week. That's what you're going to end up with everybody that you sign up to. As I said to you, the more of these people that you have sending you stuff, the more chances are that you're going to carry on listening to everybody else's stuff rather than doing the work yourself. But nevertheless, not a big sermon that I'm giving you here. I think you get my point. Click the submit button, guys. After you click the submit button, what's going to pop up is another screen. As you can see here, it's giving me a login details and it's giving me a password. It's quite simple enough there. And then the second choice is you've got to choose between what sort of platform you're going to download. Okay. Now I want you to download the desktop platform if you can. If you have a Mac, obviously you can't. You have to use a web, but I'm not a big fan of the web. The reliability that you get from the desktop application is going to be much better. The patterns are much better. The controls are much better. So in all terms here, you need to be looking at getting this download done. And you want to be downloading not the MT4 platform. You want to be downloading the Market Scope section. Okay, you're going to get a choice between the two different types. Okay, so you want to be looking at just downloading the Market Scope one. Okay, so once you've done that, what will happen is you'll click on a set of buttons and you'll get a little bit of a pop-up like this, okay, which will ask you to pop in your details. So I'm just going to copy what I've got given here, simply enough. Here's that. I'll go back to my little pop-up here. Give me a sec. Okay, let's put that in. There we go. And then you just pump in your password. Easy enough. 909. There we go. And then you have to make sure it says demo over here, because in theory, if you have a real account as well in a demo account, you can have both. But if you've got a demo account here, save it, login. So there we go, login, and away you go. Okay. So what will happen is from here, give me one sec here. I think we're getting some gremlins to start with. 254122887. Yeah. Sorry, I'm getting old, so sometimes I type in the wrong stuff. Now you're going to get a whole pile of stuff jumping up on your screen when this happens. Bear with me one sec. I'm going to bring it into the view for you to have a look at on the video. So just letting it wind up behind the scenes here quickly. You're going to hear a video start as well. Okay. So you're going to get literally a little screen like this that pops up. Welcome to FXCM. It's worth watching these. There's some nice little videos there. Welcome FX markets, open trades, closed trades, opening charts. Okay, that'll give you a little bit of a roundup on how to go about all these things. And once you're done with it, guys, then you can always refer back to it. The website will have all this stuff on it in any case, so you can get rid of that. And then what you will see there is a dashboard that'll look similar to this. Okay, so I'm going to make this a bit bigger for everybody to have a look at. Okay, you're going to get a dashboard that looks like that, and you're going to get a set of charts that pop up. Now, your charts will probably look a little bit different to what I've got on my screen. Okay, I think by default I have all this stuff set up on my machine already, so this thing automatically loads everything up. But I'm going to go through how to change all of this in a minute, so bear with me a minute while I do all of that. First, let's have a look at the dashboard and see what we got here. Okay, so you've got on your top left-hand corner here all your advanced dealing tickets or your simple dealing tickets. The market's closed at the moment, so you can see there's no red or blue flashing colors going on. You'll see it from 10 o'clock tonight. Those will start to flash. That's your sell and buy prices over there. And there's all your particular your 20 choices currently of all the indices and currencies that you want to trade with. We'll set that up in a minute as well. And then it just moves on, giving you the highs and lows of the days, the roll costs if you want to buy and sell, and it'll give you the pip costs, etc. as you go along. Now, I don't really look at the advanced dealing rates, so it's up to you. I unclick the box and I make it simple. The top right hand side here, as you can see, we've been given £50,000. There's our equity, there's our account number, there's basically our daily P&L, the used margin. So in other words, when you start placing trades, you'll see how much margin has been taken away from this £50,000 that will be allocated to protecting or using as a deposit for your particular trades. And then usable margin, that'll be what's remaining left behind, which you can use to use trades. Now, in the beginning, you'll be trading nowhere near that full amount, so don't worry too much about that, but it's just worth knowing for of interest. Come back down. This is where your contingent orders or your pending orders will sit here, where it says orders. So anything that's waiting to be filled or waiting to be activated will be sitting in this area over here. And then down below it here, you'll have the open positions, closed positions, and summary. This is where all the existing tickets will be basically in play. So you'll see anything that you place into the marketplace that's activated. You'll see literally line items of the individual trades all hanging out there. Closed positions for the day, those will stay in there for the day. At the end of the New York close, those will disappear and they'll just go into your report on your web file. And then you can get a summary as things are coming and going. It's up to you. Down below, we'll talk about this obviously as the time goes by. But for now, we need all three of those. We'll keep those in play. Down below on the left-hand side here, we've got messages and news and all that mumbo jumbo. I'll just get rid of all that. Then you've got actions and all the rest of it down the bottom here. I don't want to know about that either. What I want to do is keep things simple on my chart. So in principle, all you've got set up here is a box that has all your particular currencies and commodities, etc., with all the prices and stuff on it. You have your account equity curve, if you want to look at it like the equity sums at the top here, giving you an idea of what sort of margin, etc., you're using. I don't even have that on my real account anymore, because at the end of the day, I'm managing this through my own spreadsheets and stuff like that. I just refer to this when I do my checks at the end of each month, but I don't actually have it up on my screen. So I actually have it closed, to be honest with you, like this, because the last thing I want to do is be staring at how much my money is going up and down. That's the worst thing you can do, because you're focusing on the wrong thing. Remember, you're going to be focusing on trading well, not on what's going on with your currency, with your accounts at that particular time. You can revise that at a weekly and monthly stages. And then obviously I've made this a bit bigger, because when you start placing orders, you'll see a lot of stuff in there. Okay, so that's how that needs to be set up, from my opinion. You can choose to do whatever you like in the future. It's up to you. But just going forward, that's a good place to start. Now, just using the ribbon at the top here, just give you a little bit of an idea of some of the things that are in place. So if you click on System, okay, log out, some basic settings and things here. The one things that I will use in this area are options. Okay, the options, when you click on it, it pops up with all the options to set up your screen and to sort of jig certain things that you need to refine when you're building all your charts, etc. Another thing that we could potentially look at here is that's all I've really used, to be honest with you. I was going to say shortcuts, but I haven't designed anything there. So view, we're just looking at that now. I've set all that up, which is all of this that you're looking at on your dashboard here. Remember, I've unticked advanced rates, I've kept simple rates, I've unclicked accounts, I've got my open position, closed position, orders, summary. So if you unclick something by mistake, you can always come to view and then choose to click advanced rates, and then you can see they're back up again. So all I'll do is unclick that again and it's away. Simple enough. Trading. Okay, you might have more than one account. Here's your dealing rate, so you might want to choose to place a trade because you can't do it off your, because you've decided that it's going to be quicker and easier to run it off the ribbon here. You can create an entry order or a market order or an OCO order. So these are just, I guess, as I say, a good place to go for your if you choose to not use the screen as such, or the charts, which I'll show you in a minute. You're going to trade off the charts, so just to understand where orders can be placed elsewhere. And then you've got open positions. It'll all give you little bits of summaries, etc. So you've got a little bit of the similar story that you can see actually on your dashboard. And then the one that I'm always using here, which is charts. Okay, open charts. If you click on open chart, they ask you to choose a time frame that you want to click on or choose to trade from. D1s as default for me. Okay, create a chart. So this will be create a chart. I'll show you in a minute how to actually build a template and all the rest of it. We'll build 2 templates, and then what you need to do is every time you want to open a chart, you can choose the template that you want, and then you A for away. Create a chart, similar thing, okay guys, or create a view. These are all going to just be basically sort of profiles that you can arrange and set up to design something specific for your specific charts that you're laying out. But the one every time that I use when it opens up my platform every time here is Open Market Scope. So if I clicked on Open Market Scope, as you can see there, my screen or my current chart will pop up. Now, as I said, yours are going to probably look quite drastically different from this. You probably find yours is black. You probably got green and red candles. You might have 3 or 4 screens laid out on your chart. So I'm going to just mess around a little bit here, give you a little bit of an idea of maybe what you've got. You probably end up with something that looks like that, for example. You might have a whole pile of other things going on there. Now, there's nothing wrong with that, guys. So it's plain enough, not to get too stressed out about it. I'm going to show you how simple it is to use these charts. As you saw me just briefly there do, if you actually hold on the actual particular currency pair or indice or commodity there, if you hold left click and hold on that there, you can drag it, and when you drag it you can see these blue kind of like triangles and squares all popping up. Now the nice thing about that is if you drop your mouse over the circle in the center, it'll stay exactly where it is, whereas if I drop it to the triangle at the top here, if I had another chart in the area, it would drop it above it, okay? Or if I did it, let's do an example. Here it is to the right hand side, so I'll drop it there now and you'll see it's gone to the right hand side. So it's quite nifty in the sense that you can move your charts around after fiddling around a little bit. I'll try to go back to the left hand side again. Let's do that where I was before, and I'll make this a little bit bigger by holding on the actual rising vertical line here, as you can see, and I'll drag it across, and as you can see, it's basically realigning my charts. The same as if I want to make these bigger or smaller, the ones that are on top and the bottom over here, I'll pull my mouse up and down until I find my horizontal line indicator pop up. Let's just see if I get one. There he is there. That's from RSI. There'll be one here. There we go. And I can make my charts a little bit wider if I want to in that case there. So yeah, you've just got to fiddle a little bit with the verticals and the horizontal lines here, and you can set your charts up to fit your screens perfectly in a sense. So what I want to do to start with is I want to create 2 charts for you, okay? 2 templates for you. First of all, I want to do one where you have 4 top-down sort of windows on your chart. So what I'm going to do is actually have the monthly chart at the top left, the weekly chart on the top right, the daily chart at the bottom right, and the 4-hour 240 chart at the bottom left. So as you can see, I've got 3 here at the moment. We'll go into colors in a moment as well. You'll see that I'll set mine up as default certain ways, but let's just get the charts in the correct place to start with. Don't worry about all the indicators and all the rest of it on there for now. So here we go. I'm literally going to get rid of everything I don't need, and then we can get going with all that. So I'm just going to delete all these. Okay, so I'm going to get down to a stage where I've probably got a similar amount as you have. Okay, so I've got 3 currency pairs, 3 currency pairs and 1 commodity here currently. Okay, as I said, don't worry about that right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and design this so that it looks with 4 charts, 4 boxes, 4 charts on the same screen. So I'm going to drag this and I'm going to drop it down the bottom here to get me in the bottom of this window here. So I've got one above the other. Okay, then what I'm going to do then is I'm going to take this one here and I'm going to get it below this chart there. So if I'm on the square or the diamond in the center here, then I'm working in this frame. But if I go to the extremes here, that's obviously going to pop it to the left hand side of this particular chart, or if I go to that side, it's going to put it to the right hand side of these 2 charts. So I want to put it just above this one or below this one here. So there we go. As you can see, I've got it all laid out in a reasonable state there right now. I'm also going to get rid of all these indicators and stuff, so I don't have anything on there, but I'm conscious that I'm actually jumping the gun a little bit there. Let me just get this even first. So there we go. That looks a little bit better. I've got 4 clean boxes. So there we go. Now what I want to do, guys, as you can see, is I've got my boxes all laid out, top two, bottom two. I want to then now move on to putting in a monthly timeline onto the top left hand box. So what I do is click on the second drop down over here. This gives you all your time parameters that you can choose to trade in. Okay, so I want this to be my monthly chart, so I'm going to click on 1 month over there, so M1, so that gives me my monthly, and as you can see, it makes it all very nice and crunched up. Then I'm going to go to this box over here, and I'm going to make it the weekly chart. So I come all the way down, it says 1 week, and I click on there, and there's all my weekly. Each candle there is going to give me weekly data. Then I'm coming down to the bottom right here. I'm going to go to the second box along again to the drop down, and I'm going to choose to have this as my daily chart. So I choose D1, and there's all my candles doing daily time frame. And then over here I'm going to bring it down to the 4 hour, so that's the lowest time frame I look at currently while I do my trading. I mean, obviously I can go down lower if I want to, but as the setup goes, so 4 hour chart. So every candle there is based around a 4 hour time period of a 4 hour session. Now let's clean up our charts, because as you can see now, for me there's a little bit too much going on in here, and I want to make them a lot smoother. So what I do then is I click on the screen, right click that is, and I go all the way down, and as you can see here on this, if I right click on it, it gives me options actually to do a lot of things. I mean, this platform is quite good in the sense it allows you to trade off the screen. So here you can place an entry order if you want, you can create a market order if you want. If I click any of these, the ticket will pop up, but I'll get into that in a minute. You can put show trading information, you can do chart elements, you can add lines, etc. We're going to fiddle with all that type of thing in a minute as well. We can add indicators, we're going to need to use that in a minute. And then some basic things, chart mode, zoom, lock, views, etc. I mean, I don't use too many of those things, but templates, you and I will look at designing 1 or 2 of those in a minute. Snapshots, okay, you can do some pictures if you like. Files, this is all exporting, etc. So once more, some advanced ideas. And then it says show indicators, show legends. As you can see, I've got nothing clicked on any of these currently, but we'll fiddle with that a bit in a minute too. And then further down here, almost second from the bottom, is options. Now that's what I want. Click on options, and the nice thing about options is now we start to look at how market scope, how we can set it up. So go to general options on here. Show confirm. I need to obviously make this a little bit bigger because otherwise you can't see what I'm looking at. So there we go. Show confirm saving dialog, and you want to make sure this is yes. Okay. In other words, every time something happens, you want to make sure that it closes off with closes off and saves it. Save chart on closing. I would say yes. Okay, because the worst thing you could happen is when you close this chart and then you basically forget to save that information, it basically disappears. So make sure that's a yes. Enable chart data tooltip. Okay, I've just got that as yes as default. Magnet sensitivity, mine just leave it as 5. And once again, this Lua virtual machine type, I've left that as Lua standard. Okay, and then weekend data, you'll see here I've got your merge into Mondays. Okay, so I would just choose to click down and go merge into Mondays. So what's going to happen is usually what happens is there's a little bit of a gap that it would occur between I think it's Friday and Sunday's data, or between Sunday and Monday's data. So you want to make sure that that's all blended into the Sunday candle, or the Monday candle rather, so we don't have any gaps on our charts that we have to look at. And it says price gaps, it says your hide. So at the moment I've got hide. Ultimately, I mean, we might look at a little bit more advanced strategies further down the line, but for now just put hide. Okay, we'll start looking at gaps, because gaps are actually quite a successful trading system, but you have to understand how they work to start with. So at the moment that's on hide. Then go to chart view options, the next tab down. Okay, at the top here, background color. Now as you can see, mine's white at the moment, yours is probably black or something along those lines. I'm going to make mine as I always do. I have it yellow, it's easier on my eyes, so I go click on the box, drop down, click on the yellow. Also go to define custom colors, and as you can see here, there's a little bit of a scale up and down the right hand side here. I don't want it too bright, so I try and just make it light yellow, and it's only because I don't like my eyes basically being drawn. Well, they get dark, black's too dark, white's too bright, and this I find is a lot easier on my eyes. So that's what I've done there. Text font, I'm going to leave it as standard. Text color, I mean, these are all little things you can fiddle with further down the line. Axis color, scale color. axis tag color. The colors, it's really up to you. You can modify all those. I'm going to leave them as default as the moment. Axis tag background color, as you can see, that's your axis tag background color. These sometimes I change to make them a subtle color so they don't stick out, for example. So I'll make something like this, so that it doesn't jump out at me. And then I'll push OK, and that goes in there. The same as the separator pointers color. I'll do the same thing as well. Something probably a little bit less offensive. We'll have a look at it in a minute and see what it does. And here we go, we're starting into some of the things we're going to change. It says show separator scale, and at the moment you probably got yes. I want no. I don't want to see anything I don't need on my charts unnecessarily. I want my charts to be as plain and as simple as possible. Price action, couple of indicators, and that's all I'm going to be looking at. Okay, separator pointer color. Okay, show grid. I don't want to see the grid either, so make sure that's a no. Grid line style. Okay, here's a grid lines color. We see we're not showing grid. I'm not really interested either. Dynamic crosshair. I make this as light as possible, guys. So I would say yes, and then I'd change the color to something light gray or something like I've done there. Maybe make it a bit lighter. Once again, all you want to do is just follow the crosshair, which is going to be created by your mouse moving around as a very light thing. If it's too bright, then once again your eyes getting drawn into all the wrong things. Remember, you want to be watching price action. Bid line colors, etc. I would just leave them as default at the moment. You can fiddle with these in a more advanced setting. This is just getting the basics all set up. Going further down, now this is where I get into the changes on my candlestick. So there's a part here where it says ascending candlestick color, and on this chart here it's got blue. Okay, so ascending is your rising candle, which is the ones that are your bullish markets. I want those to be hollow, okay, or empty. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make them black as an outline. So any of these colors here, I guess that's black over there. Push OK, and then it says here filled in the box below. Make that empty, okay? Then you got the descending candle, at least. This is the one that's going down. Currently shown on your screen here is red. So what I'm going to do is click on that. I'm going to make that black again, except this time I'm going to leave it filled. Push OK. So what you'll see in a minute, once I push OK, is that my screen's all going to change to yellow backgrounds. The candles are going to go to black with hollows on the way up, and then or empty on the way up. And then you're going to look at the descending candles as being black and solid filled to the way down. Let's have a look, see what else is left in this option here. Descending candles filled, that's exactly what I want. Label text colors, nope, I don't want any of that at the moment. We can leave that as default. Show current market price, we definitely want that. Yeah, let's have a look. Current market price lines, that's all so we can leave it all in there currently as default. We can fiddle with that as more advanced settings. Cool. So now what I suggest you do is just go to the bottom right here and push apply. There we go. And as you can see, my chart's updated. The colors are all nice and yellow. My candles have changed color as well, and I've started to remove some of the unnecessary things on my chart, like those separator scales, etc. I'm going to just leave it at that because I think that's all you need for now to get your basic chart setup done. So I'm going to click on OK. There we go, guys. As you can see, we've got now some lovely little candles that have been laid out in a very standard way. You asked me why my candles are this and not yellow, not green and red. At the end of the day, I think certain colors, once again, are going to create certain draws of attention. Admittedly, even the dark black ones do. You'll find that because they're filled, when they start to sell, you're attracted more to those in the sense you can see them more clearly than you can see the ones that are empty. But yeah, you got to look at the emotional value when you're looking at certain things, and this is why I take that out. Now, I just want to clear off some of these lines here. So, what I'll do is I'm going to make this, I'm just going to right click on these lines, remove lines, perfect. And then we'll start to set up some default charts for these particular guys. I'm going to remove these lines here just by right clicking on them, remove lines. Cool. We're almost there. Now, let's just stay with the weekly chart. Now, what I want to do is I want to make sure that this monthly chart, this weekly chart, this daily chart, and this 4-hour chart all move. If I change my particular commodity or or currency, that they all move. In other words, if I choose to make this euro US dollar, that they all become euro US dollar and the times stay the same. So if you go to this little link over here, at the moment you can see there's a red barry X through it. Now what I want to do is I'm going to make that red on that one, on my monthly. I'm going to go to my weekly one, I'm going to make it red as well. I'm going to go to my daily one, I'm going to make that red as well. And I'm going to go to my 4 hour, I'm going to make that red as well. Now, what that's done now is that's linked everything. So everything that's red will change at the same time. So if I go to euro US dollar, as you guys can see, my charts are refreshing. Everything is becoming euro US dollar. So that's euro US dollar monthly, weekly, daily, and 4 hour. You might add more charts in the future. You might want to link them and keep them in this format, and you could choose to make them all green links, for example. It's up to you as you go along. I'll have a little peek at some of our tools in a minute. Well, actually, let's do that now while we're here. If you look in this ribbon here, just above each chart, you've actually got a set of tools that we can use to speed up our analysis of our chart. So let's have a look at the ones that we use currently now. If I look down here now, the ones that I'm going to keep on my chart are the eraser. That's quite nice and easy to use, so give that a click. Okay, you'll have to do a refresh of this every single time. I'm going to add or remove stuff on here. Sorry, that's where I need to be. I'm going to go down here. Now, I don't want to have my bid or my ask price or my zoom in or my zoom out or zoom in by mouse. I don't need the fit vertically. I'll use the auto scale section. I'll keep that on my chart. It's probably going a little bit further down than it currently is on this recording session, but I'll try and bring it back up in a minute. There is lock view. I don't want that. Scroll to end I want to keep, which is the eye with the arrow on it. Show cursor data, that's great for testing. You want your ruler. You want to potentially keep your add indicator. You don't need the price overlay. You can use or keep the add channel, keep the Fibonacci one. Add GAN you can remove. Now, as it's going below here, I can't really show you on here. So what I'm going to try and see if I can do it on here. See if I can find all my my tools on here. Chart elements. No, that's not what I want. I'm sure it's here somewhere. I don't want chart elements again. So what happens when you deal with charts all the time? You actually you forget how to use it up the top here because you're doing everything on the top on the actual charts themselves. So I'm sure there's a little button here that I could click here for all my tools. So I was hoping to show you to finish all this off, but obviously I'm battling a bit there, so I'm going to bring this up there. Here's some of the remainders. You might see this a little bit better. Keep the add line charts, keep the add shape chart, add label you want to keep there, keep the eraser, and you don't need chart elements on there, okay? And then all you have to do is just click away from the screen, and now what's happened is you've got everything on top here that you need to keep literally for your chart. So if I make this bigger, okay, as you can see there now, that's kept everything on here that I need. If I go to the left hand side here to the actual reduce button here, I'll drop it back in. It'll keep this particular format for me. Now I want to save this format before I go anywhere else. If I don't save it, then potentially I'll lose it. So what I want to do is I'll go into file, I'll go down the bottom here where I go to create a template. Okay, save template. Sorry, it wasn't file, it was templates. Save template, and that's going to actually save a template for me on my of this particular chart here. So that's not what I want. I want to save this layout. That's what I do. Sorry guys, getting confused between the one or two things here. You want to go to save file layouts, and you want to go to save layout. Okay, can you see there? Save layout. There we go. Now I'm going to give it a name. So this particular layout that I'm using, I'm going to call it my monthly. So I'm going to use an abbreviation monthly, and my weekly, my daily, and my 4 hour. So I'm going to put 240. So MWD 240 chart V1. Okay, so that's all I'm going to call it. So I know if I look at this save layout or this layout link, I know that I've got, and I'm even going to put in front here, I'll just put 4 box something like that, monthly, weekly, daily, 240 chart V1. Okay, so every time I click on this link, this is the layout I'm going to get, and I push OK. And if I go down to my file here and I go to layouts, okay, I'm probably going to have a huge pile of layouts, but if I open layouts over here and I have a search for that four box, here it is at the top here, 4 box, monthly, weekly, daily, 240, and there it is, charts, pull that across, V1. If I click on that, that's what I'll get every single time. Okay, so that's me having saved one layout. Now, the big thing for building these charts is I want to get a default setting going, a template going. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this chart here. I'm going to get rid of my RSI. Okay, so all I've got is my price action on here currently. Okay, so if you right click on any of the indices, moving averages or whatever the stories, it'll pop up. It'll give you a chance to say remove. So remove it. All I've got on my chart here, as I said, is price action. I've got my scale to the right hand side with my price on it, and below at the bottom here I've got my time frames, okay, so my daily, days, etc., and months, etc. In this case, sorry, it's a monthly chart, so it's all monthly periods here. But I want to set this up as a default. So what I'm going to do, just so that I can make this the default setting, I'm going to make this a day for now. Okay, so this is euro by the day, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to add my moving averages and I'm going to add my RSI. So that gives me all the tools that I use in the background to support the things that I'm going to basically use as confluence. I mean, admittedly, the Fibonacci tool's already here. We'll talk about that when we work through our training, etc. But for now, what I want to do is build some of my indicators. So I right-click on my screen again, guys, and then what I do is I go to this little button over here that says Add Indicator. Okay, and then if this all pops up, you'll see you've got a whole list of things you can choose from. You know, in this case, it's moving averages, trend strength indicators, trend indicators, classic oscillators, you know, typical oscillators, support and resistance. Bill Williams, you know, some of his indicators that he's designed, Bollinger Bands, swing pattern strategy type indicators, volatility indicators, ATR, which we do use, but a little bit further down the line. Elliott wave. I mean, these are all things, obviously, as I said, the fewer of these things you have in your chart, the better. Now, what we want is the EMAs. Remember, we talked about this in the training. So if you go to moving averages, I mean, admittedly, after you've clicked a couple of these, you'll start to see them in your most recent box at the top. But for now, just look for the moving averages section here. Go to EMA, click on EMAs, okay, double click on it, and it'll pop up with this little window, this little ticket here, effectively. Now, remember we talked about using the 8, so you go to this section here which says number of periods, so choose 8, then go to your line color over here, and I would choose light blue to start with, okay, for your 8, and I'd push OK. This says drawing mode, it says middle to middle, so I'd go to the bottom here and it goes close to close, in other words, the close of each candle, that's the information we want to catch. And it says show label, I'm going to put no, show legend, I'm going to put no, I don't want anything on my chart, as I said, I don't want. And show in background, I'm going to put yes. Remember, I don't want these things sitting on top of my price, I want them sitting behind my price. Okay, we're all ready to rock and roll. Just out of curiosity, there's a data source here, gives you an idea where everything's coming from, the location of where it's kept, but that's all you want, is really this parameters section on the front. And you could even set that as default, but before we go and do that, let's go as OK. So here we go. You're starting to get, I don't know why I've got so many indicators on here. Bear with me a sec, because I've got other things set up in the background. Let me delete my current legend of things, otherwise it gets a bit confusing, as you can see. Remove, 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 remove. Sorry guys, you have to do that again. It's good practice though. So here we go. Add indicator, EMAs, okay. Go to the number of periods, go 8. That says 18. You go to 8. Let's change the color. Cool. A nice blue. Click OK. Go to close and close price. Okay. Go OK. There we go. And if you can see just faintly at the bottom here, whoopsie, one thing I forgot to do there, guys. So I'll change indicator is I forgot to change the parameters. Show legend, no. And show in background, yes. Apply. Okay, there we go. So now we have it up there. So you can see that I've got my 8 EMA on my chart all plotted out. Now I want my 21 moving average also plotted in here, so back to the indicator. Right now it'll be at the top of my recent, so I can just click on there now. Same thing, this time around I'm choosing 21 periods. I want this to be a dark blue, so I'm going to choose that blue over there. Same story, push OK. Same layouts once again. We want the closing prices, show label, no, show legend, no. show in background. Yes, have a nice day. Push OK. Now you can see, guys, check there. There's my moving averages all set up on my chart. So admittedly, the light blue one's very faint. Remember, I even make these lighter. You'll see on my charts they're much lighter. I don't want to draw any attention to these things unnecessarily. So if I put them on my chart, they're usually quite faint, just to give me that support of my thinking that this market is turning to the upside or turning to the downside, or some sort of dynamic changes has happened. So in a sense, you look at this chart here, we've had our swing to the bottom here, so we've had our crossover over there, the market has then come back down and we've seen another crossover here, so there's a potential move to the upside here, which we're looking at continuing to the upside. It's the easy way of looking at this, really. So any interaction with the particular market structures here, we'll be looking at using that for our trades. Now remember, I also use a 55 moving average, so you can follow the same suit as I just done there, but for now that's the default ones I use, 8 and the 21 for most of my trading setups. Now if you want to not have to delete these every time you want to set them up, all you have to do is right click on the screen again and go down where it says show indicators. If I click show indicators there, you can see it disappears. But if I want them back again, so in other words, I could do my analysis without the indicators on it. After I've decided, okay, I've got all my market structure correct, I'll go back and click indicators and put it back on again, and that just gives me a chance to have a quick review of what I'm looking at, maybe confirm what I've been deciding. Now let's set up the RSI. So this is the last indicator that we set up. So same story, right click, go to add indicator. Now this time around you've got to scroll down a little bit. You're looking for the RSI, relative strength indicator, not RS, which is the relative strength. There's a difference. So we're going to search down here and look for the RSI. There we go, guys, under classic oscillators, RSI, relative strength index. Click on that. Now we talked about this. 14 is the default, guys. Okay, nothing wrong with 14. It's really up to you. I think it's quite smooth, it's quite easy to use. Nothing wrong with it, especially on the daily time frames, etc. I like the sensitivity of shorter periods. Okay, I like to use the 7 period, and the line color that I'm going to use for this is blue as well. Okay, so I'm going to click on blue there, as you can see, push OK. Now I'm going to keep those lines solid. At the same time, as we come further down, it says your levels. I'm looking at the overbought levels and the oversold levels. Because it's sensitive, if I left it as 14, I'd leave these as 70 and 30, but because it's sensitive and it's 7 periods, I'm going to use 80 and 20. Okay, and these outer lines I'm going to leave as red for now, just to make it, these outer boundary lines I'm going to use as red for now. And that's all I really need to use for you at the moment. I'm just going to check my data source and location just out of curiosity. And then when I'm ready to go, I'm going to put set as default, okay, before I click this one out, because this will keep all these settings from every time I come onto the RSI. It's automatically going to go to 7 for me, and it's going to set these parameters for me. So I'll just click on that, and I push OK. And as you guys can see, my RSI has just built itself on the bottom over here. So I'm styling. I'm all happy as Larry at the moment. Now, before we move away from this, I'm going to start to save this template now, so that like every time I load up a chart, should I decide to do some examples or whatever, it loads up with all this information. So I go to templates, okay, save template, okay, and here I'm going to go, guys. You can see me building a naming convention there already. So what I'm going to look at is I'm going to go 8 for my 8 EMA, and I'm going to put / for my next 21, which is my 21 EMA. So I'll put EMA, and then what I'm going to do is put 7 RSI, okay, and I'm going to put the daily chart. Okay, so now what that has done is an abbreviation for me, which is the 8 and 21 exponential moving averages on this chart. I've got a 7 period RSI on there, and this is a daily chart setup. Okay, and if I click on that, means I've got a template ready to rock and roll. Every time I want to build a chart, I'll show you. I click OK. And now here, let's just say I go over to here. I want to go to build a chart, for example, file, create a chart. Okay, all I have to do now is go to Euro. Choose daily time frame, and then literally look all the way down here where it says apply template. Click on apply template. Now I need to find the one that I was building now, because remember I built piles of these already. So what was the one that I just did? I did 8/21 7 RSI and daily charts. If I click on that, okay, what happens is I'll get a new chart getting built now as soon as I click on it, and that's all I'm going to use. I'm not going to click on the open with Trading Station. I'll just click on here, Can you see there? There's a new chart that's just been built for me at the end here, and there I have my moving averages, my RSI, all ready to rock and roll. Now this has put a little bit of the naming, the legend and stuff in there. So when I right click on the screen again, I go down, it says show legend. I just click on that button, or unclick it in this case, and all the typeface disappears. I mean, if you want to see what the details are, it's up to you. It just gives you the details, RSI on a particular chart, 7 periods, template 8/21 EMAs, so we know that that's a template. But remember, like I said to you, I don't want to see anything I don't need to see. My eye needs to be focused on looking at price. So there we go. There's your default template. So anytime you mess something up or ready to go, you can build a chart in 2 seconds. Now just choose a time frame and you click on the template and away you go. Now, as you guys can see here, I like this layout that I've got here currently as well. We set up a layout earlier on, which is the 4 boxes. So this is the last thing we're going to do now, is set up a single chart layout. Okay, so this is like now, if you want to look at Euro, at the moment these are all clicked as linked to each other. So what I'll do is I'll unlink these guys. Okay, so I'll make an X in there. And this will allow me to look at, I'll show you in a minute, I'll make this one pound US dollar. Actually, I've got to do one more thing before we disappear. I've got to show you what to click on how to choose what currency pairs and indices to allocate. As you can see, it's unclicked. So now these are operating independently of one another. So I can get this is a really good way to do your analysis on these on this wider screen formats. But you know, as I said to you, the 4 box one will come in handy in the time to come. But nevertheless, let's go to the third one along. Let's unclick this to unlink. I'm going to make these all daily charts as well. I'm going to make this one US dollar yen. Okay, and then I'm going to go to this one here, and I'm going to unclick that link there, and I'm going to make this one Aussie, for example. That's a daily. That one's 4 hour. Can you see it says H4 there? So I want to change that to day. There we go, D1. There we go, there's some detail. If I want to put my indicators on there, I can put them on there. That gives me all my default settings from my other setups. This is all days on there as well. There's my new chart. It's day, it's Euro, US dollar. So I've got that already on my chart. So what I'm going to do on this one here is I'm going to do US dollar CAD, for example. So there's my CAD chart. I've got a whole pile of things in there. I'll choose my eraser and eliminate those lines to start with, just so I've got all the default setups all nice and clear. So cool, I'm ready to rock and roll. In the future, I can use all these single pages as and when I want them. So once again, I'm going to go to File, I'm going to go to Layouts, I'm going to go Save Layouts. Okay, that one there previously was 4 box. In this case, I'm going to go 1 box. Okay, I mean, you could choose any naming convention you like. Okay, and I'm going to put on there 1 box, Daily Charts Template. V1 out of curiosity, because this might be your first version. And then I'll click OK. Cool, so now I've got this layout. So let's just go and do a test drive. Let me get back to my 4 box. So there I go to Layouts. I go to Open Layouts. Let's go to the one I was looking at earlier on, which is the 4 box. Monthly, weekly, 240, daily 240 chart V1. Cool, I click on there. There we go. I got all my setup there. So what I could do now is I could go to each one of these charts now and get my templates and sort them out so they all have everything on them that I need. So in principle, I could sit here and go, okay, cool, I don't like what I've got here, so I'm going to go click on this top left hand box here. I'm going to go to templates. I'm going to apply a template. Let's just see if I can get this thing to run off the bat here. Push OK. Do you want to save? No, don't save. And there we go. I'm going to remove that from there. I'm going to put show indicators, and there are all my indicators and stuff on there from my actual saved template. Okay guys, so that's an easy way to set up my screens. They might look a little bit blurry there because I've probably got more than one indicator on and stuff there that I need, but remember, there we go. I'll take off the 55 because remember this is all set to my default settings. There we go, that's what you should get. Nice and easy, and we can do the same over here. And that's set up already. Let's say we need the RSI, so let's click on that box. Go to templates, apply template, go to there, don't save, there we go. I have to remove some of those double lines because remember, as I said, I've already had these set up as defaults, but there we go. There I am, ready to rock and roll. So click on the bottom left one here, templates, apply template, same 8/21 EMA RSI, push, don't save, there we go, that's set up. Let's put the show indicators on there, there we go, remove the 55. And we're ready to rock and roll over there. And last but not least, the daily, same story, templates, save template, apply template. Okay, I want that template there, don't save, it's popping up with all my default stuff on it, so I've got to remove some of the things I don't need. And once again, show indicators, remove 55, remove all the unnecessary things that I had already in place there. There we go. And there we go, we got our charts all set up. Now, what I'll do is usually, because there's a 4 boxes, crunch my RSIs all the way down, make it as thin as possible. Keep this all as much chart information as possible. There we go, nice little setup. So what I'll just do is go back into my layouts. I'll go to save layout, okay, 4 box, monthly, weekly, 240 chart V1, push OK. Now that's the default setting for that. So we're all ready to rock and roll. One more time, let's just check what we do. Go to layouts. Okay, I want to go back to the single screen options that we were using earlier on. So go to open layouts. Let's go look for the one box. There we go. One box daily charts template V1. Click on there, and then that's all our stuff set up there. Now remember, as I said, right click on your screen. You can get rid of your indicators. If you don't want to see your RSI when you're not doing reversals, you can just pull it down to the bottom, or you can right click on it and delete it if you like, but that's an easy way to look at your charts without anything on them. Now the last thing we need to set up is your 20 particular things, or your choices of currencies and commodities, etc. in this area. So I'm going to make this euro. I'm going to start with the euro one over here, just so that I don't get things all messed up on my chart. So if you click down here, if you go all the way down to the bottom, it says symbols. If you click on symbols, this gives you a choice. You get 20 options to choose from. So you'll see that there's a click box status over here. So my euro is already ticked. As you can see, I'm trading, on this chart. I can see the euro, and then you can move down. So I would say choose all your majors. Euro, US dollar, pound, US dollar, all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? And then start moving on to more exotic things further down the line. So, fair enough. I got gold clicked here. I got pound clicked there. I've got the FTSE 100 clicked. I've got the US dollar clicked. I've got another sort of gold currency element here. I don't want that. Let's unclick that, because remember, they're going to give you default settings. I've got the Germany index DAX. I've got the French. I don't need that. I don't want the Chinese. You can keep euro yen. You can keep US dollar yen. If you go further down here, you might choose to keep, let's just say from my analysis this week for the Italian 40 here, you want to look at the S&P 500, you can click on there, you can add those. Pound yen's there, Aussie yen, I'm going to get rid of that. US dollar Swissy, keep that out of interest, although it's madness to trade it. Aussie US dollar, you've got there, you've got Euro Swissy, you don't need. Euro GBP, I'd keep that. New Zealand, I'd keep that. US dollar CAD, I'd keep that. Pound Aussie, you don't need it. US 30, I would unclick that for now. You don't need all that. There's oil here if you want to have a look at. There's copper, there's gas, there's the Bund, and so on and so forth. Okay, so once you're quite happy with what you've clicked and you've chosen over it, all you have to do is push OK or apply. So push apply, fair enough, and then I'm going to push OK. And now if you do your drop down, you've got basically all the elements here that you've chosen to choose from. So if you need to change something, you look further, all you have to do is once again go to symbols here, unclick the status of the ones you don't want and click the status of the ones you do want. You've got 20 every time, and away you go. So guys, I know that sounds like a mouthful in 47 minutes to set up your charts. I'm hoping it helps you out. We can go over things in a more advanced state on our training, and we'd catch up with each other. In the meantime, keep well, stay focused.